Hey guys, Christina here, and today I want to share some of our curriculum choices for the 2022 through 2023 school year. So this year, I have 5 children, if you're new here, and they're going to be in grades 1, 4, 7, 8, and 10. Quite the spread. And so I thought I would start off by sharing our curriculum that we're using as a family or as a group, or primarily as a group with just 1 or 2 children not using it. I had asked on Instagram kind of the way different people like to see curriculum videos, and it was pretty much split right down the middle the way people like to see them. So I figured this was going to be the easiest way. First, do you hear the birds? I have my window open. I have my ceiling fan on because it is very, very hot. But I feel like I've been kind of putting this video off, so it was time to film it. So, knowing what ages and what grades we're looking at, the last thing I just want to mention before I start is that I think I've been dragging my feet a little bit on this year in kind of making decisions. I have a spreadsheet. I know years in advance probably what we're going to be doing, but this is the first year that we're registering as homeschoolers in New Brunswick. It's the first year I don't have to write a program plan, a very, very detailed program plan. It's the first year I don't have to submit it ahead of time, like usually beginning of summer for approval. It's just very different this year, and I'm kind of feeling that, I'm processing that. So that's just my thought process there for a minute. Anyways, getting into what we're doing. So the first thing I want to share is this Great World Adventure, Understanding Western Asia, and I'll give you a bit of a flip through as I talk about it. So we have done the Great World Adventure, one of their programs before, and we really enjoyed it. I can put a link up top if you'd like to see that review. They've changed their format a bit, but I still really wanted to use their programs, and I think we're going to enjoy them. So I chose this particular one because it aligns with the place of history that we're going to be studying. We're going to be studying ancient times, which I'll share in a minute here. And I felt like this really just kind of gave us some more education about the place as it is now and a bit of their history as well. So I went ahead and chose that. I think I'm going to give it a try this year and do a bit of like a morning basket. Typically we haven't done a lot of that. Just because my kids, especially when they're younger, were not good with transitions, and so we would just kind of do a few things. But I think I'm going to try doing this a little bit each day and see how that goes. So that's going to be our geography, part of our social studies for the first half of the year, and that's all my kids together. Then I left it up to my kids to choose what part of the world they wanted to do for the second half of the year. And my oldest son was really interested in Japan, and so decided to do this, Japan and South Korea. Same company, same everything, layout, and he just wants to know more about it. And so I thought, great, let's go with something he's interested in. So we're gonna go through that for the second part of the year. If it doesn't work doing a little bit each day, we'll adjust that schedule, maybe do it once a week, do a little bit more, but that's gonna be our geography and some of our social studies / history for the year. And that's everyone all together. So the next thing that's going to be everyone is the Farm Anatomy book by Julia Rothman. It says The Curious Parts and Pieces of Country Life. Now, I've had this series for a little while, and I feel like it's just been sitting on my shelf a lot. And I think there's so much useful information in here. I wanted to find a way to use it, really. So I'm still kind of deciding exactly how I'm going to use it. I think we might do this on our Fridays and do like a couple pages at a time and read them. I did go ahead and print the book that goes along with it. This is from Daily Skill Building, and it's for grade 3 and up. And I just kind of felt like I'm not sure if I want my kids to do this. I think I might do it myself and then kind of just ask the kids the questions. Still a little undecided about that. So that's going to be what we're going to do probably on Fridays. On Fridays we typically do read aloud plus one other thing, and that will be it. But I feel like there's just so much everyday life, I don't know, that that we should do, that we should learn from this book. So I won't get into that too much. But as always, I always share reviews of the materials we use throughout the year. So I'll do a review of both those, the Farm Companion book, as well as the Great World Adventure units. So then moving on to our history and the rest of our social studies for the year. We're going to be doing Story of the World, Volume 1. We have done all 4 books already once. We're going to go through it again. This will be for my 4 younger children. My son, who is in grade 10, is going to do a different history, but it's independent. But at the same time, it's going to be on the same time period. And I left it up to him to choose the time period and what he wanted to do, and he chose to do the same time period as us. So when I do my next video and I share each child's individual subjects, I'll share his history at that point. But basically, we are just going to go through it again. I have a review up top the first time we went through it. I'm going to be doing things a bit different this time. I've added in a lot of read alouds. I was going to say a ton, but I've tried really hard to keep it to like 1 every 2 weeks, because in the past we've done pretty much 1 a week, and I've just found it's too much. So we've got a lot of read alouds. I have some independent reads. I have a list, majority of them from the library, that my kids, different ages will be doing. But that is going to be our history for the year. I'm also including some things like YouTube videos on different topics this time. And my youngest, who's in grade 1, he'll just be doing the coloring. I have a few coloring pages for him. My 4th, 7th, and 8th graders will be doing the tests and all of the maps as well. And I let them do open book usually. They can look up the answers if they want to. I'm fine with that. I'll share how this kind of went our second time around, as well as more on the read alouds we chose and how we like them at the end of the school year. Then moving on to science. So my oldest 2 children will be doing independent science this year. That's kind of what our family has decided, at least for this time. Once they hit grade 8, they can do their own science. So this science that I chose is only for my child 1st, 4th, and 7th grades. However, I do not expect my child in 1st grade to do anything more than to be in the room when I'm reading. There's a truck going by. They're doing construction on the road nearby. So I have coloring pages for him to go along with the science, but sometimes he'll just be sitting in the room. He'll be doing Lego or like magnetiles or just lying down. That's all I expect of him. I am planning some hands-on science experiments. I have not been very good about this in the past, and so I've actually gone through, scheduled them out, like 1 every 2 to 3 weeks, so it's doable for me. And I've written down what I need to get ahead of time so I can try and get this done and do some hands-on experiments, and so my child in grade 1 can be a part of that. So this is the science we're doing: exploring creation with chemistry and physics. If you have seen any of my other videos recently, I kind of talked a bit about this is not my favorite topic. I'm not particularly looking forward to this year. I shouldn't do that. I should be excited about it. And I am in some ways. But the reason I decided to do it is because my child, who is in 7th grade this year, is really interested in this topic and in engineering and mechanics and how things work and why, and physics. And because it's his last year doing our family science, I felt like it was a good opportunity to do it this year. Plus, with my daughter in 4th grade, she's a little bit more mature. I think she can handle this content. So then next year, when he goes off to do science on his own, and I only have a child in grade 2 and 5 at the time, I can do something a little bit more geared towards a bit younger, and it will work. So hopefully that makes sense. I have the notebooking journals. I did pick them up just for the oldest 2. And then, like I said, I've gone ahead, I've been ordering and collecting things. These are litmus papers, red and blue, to make sure that we get some experiments done and that everyone has a chance to enjoy them. And I think that's everything we're doing, like as a family, formally. My oldest 3 boys do a youth activity together once a week. We're looking into a sport, probably archery, for all 5 children 1 night a week. I'm still working on finding out times, finances, and if we can do that. I had hoped to have them all in piano lessons, but I'm not sure if that's going to work out this year. But that's kind of everything we're doing together. So let me know if you have any questions in the comment section down below. If you've used any of these resources, if you have any suggestions for me for resources to go along with this, I'm always looking for new things to try. Otherwise, though, I hope this finds you having a great day. Take care.